allowing his faith.
Hello, welcome back to Let's play Baldur's Gate 3, and there's a lot of noise going on right now all at once. Last time we were here, I was having some weird delay between conversations. We are here to turn in the...
We tried helping the refugees. Look how it turned out.
Yeah. Realize the gods are real. Your god is not Lathander. He does not tolerate. He is very, very tolerant. He doesn't tolerate intolerance. He's...
Please, if you have business here, seek Sister Yanis.
But this is going to be... Here's the thing that happens with Forgotten Realms a lot. Less the novels from the 90s and the 80s. Those, the gods walked around and they talked to their people. You didn't have this as much. Ever since the 2000s and Wizards of the Coast took over, they've been rebuilding Faerun to be more of a generic D&D fantasy, generic kind of kitchen sink fantasy setting. So they've been toning down the gods' involvement in the world and stuff like that, which is, I mean, you remember back when I was doing this with Branwen, and that was one of my issues with Faerun since in the 21st century, is that it gets very aggravating when they start removing all the elements that made the setting unique and just adding in tons of other stuff. But yeah, so some of the experience. Soon and Lathander are pretty lax. They end up with people going off on their own, being heretics and all that, and doing things in the name of their god and not really getting how their god operates. And then suddenly they lose their spells because, wait, why can't I cast spells anymore? Oh, because your god just finally paid attention to you. And you're doing stupid things. Ilmater is... I don't have too much experience with in the fiction and all that. But the impression I have of Ilmater is he is far more involved in making sure people are being good people. The only time I can think of where an Ilmater priest went off, that wasn't actually an Ilmater priest, it was a demon, and corrupted an entire temple, and they all kind of lost their spells and got killed by the demon. So that was in Icewind Dale, the computer role-playing game. So modern Faerun, they're going to go play it more like real-world religion. Gods are distant. They don't come down and talk to you. That kind of thing. I think the gods not being able to take your spells away is more fun because you can have heretics. Have your god say, hey, there's a heretic. Could you go please tell them to stop, or stop them if you have to? But, and I tend to be going more towards the preference that the gods are less about, these are the bad gods, these are the good gods, and more general than that. But anyway, I'm going to stop there right now. This is basically trying to make D&D not really understanding how religion would change if the gods were actually real. That's what's going on there. And that is a problem with D&D in general.
Anyone would murder Father Morgan.
There's enough blood to make a believer out of anyone.
By Ilmater's grace, must you be so insensitive?
What is this? We're not
Look,
looking.
investigator. Brilgor might have been a criminal, but he was no murderer. You're missing something. You have to be.
Enough, Yanis. Listen to yourself. You are defending a man who ritually slaughtered your high priest. The evidence speaks for itself. Brilgor killed Father Lorgan, then, be it out of shame or profane duty, offed himself with the same blade. Case closed, Sister Yanis.
That's not evidence. That's a conclusion.
Shitey little elephant. Oh, I apologize, stranger. Language like that hardly befits a rector of Ilmater.
And I'm still confused as to why all the accents are Irish and English. My impression of Chondathan is it's more... It's like either Germanic or Middle Eastern. I can't remember what my impression was. It's not English. Sounded like you were having quite the disagreement. Sound like a load of bollocks anyway.
I wouldn't go that far. But the investigator is being particularly challenging right now. 2 people just died on temple grounds. Our high priest, Father Lorgan, and one of the new refugees, Brilgor. Investigator Valeria thinks it's a murder and is content to blame Brilgor, the politically convenient target.
No murder story I've ever read has ended simply. I bet there's more afoot here. Because
Feel free to look around the temple.
Yeah.
But fair warning, the investigator won't change her mind without significant new evidence.
Well, we're going to have to do that. Where can I find the investigator? Oh, yeah. Let's ask about this. Where can we find the investigator?
Chares's Caress would be my best bet. That's her usual haunt after closing a case.
Okay. Any idea what I should be looking for?
Valeria never found the murder weapon, so that could be a start. Anything disproving the refugee murder-suicide angle, really.
Okay, can you tell me where to find Shira Kalarwin?
I can tell you where to find her, but she won't be very chatty, I'm afraid. Shira passed away last year. Peacefully, mind. We buried her in the crypt under the temple, if you wish to visit.
Of course.
I really hope you find something. For all our sakes.
Of course she's dead. Of course. Assistant to the extra planner agent. We got some XP there. Did we get any other XP? Okay, let's... Is this... She did say we can go downstairs to the crypt. Let's see if we can find that. What does this say?
Infirmary. Justice endures, even in suffering.
It sounds like the temple didn't close doors. It sounds like...
No time to rest.
Okay, it sounds like the guard
long road
closed the
ahead.
temple.
Best be on my way.
Okay, let me take a look at character sheets
I
here.
don't need any attention right
No,
now.
that's not what I want.
Save yourself from heartbreak.
There we go. Where are my skills? Detailed view. There we go. Do you have medicine? You have jack of all trades. Okay. So, I think it might actually be good because right now
Looking ahead.
I do have all my wisdom stuff as proficient. Okay.
Anything of use?
Lorgan's chess key. Examine. They're not going to let me do a medical examination? Huh? That little blood splat. That's the first I've ever seen that. That's weird.
Tempers are rising. It's clear not everything you find is at your disposal. Best keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, we're gonna load real quick. Yeah. So that's not. We're gonna have to distract her. That's probably gonna take minor illusion. So we're gonna go have the conversation again. We're gonna find out everything. There wasn't so much of a delay. I guess maybe they've patched it. So the conversation felt right. It didn't have that slow pause, weird pause that I had last video. I was initially thinking it was like the mods I put in, but then I realized those mods aren't active on this game.
I've nothing against Father Lorgan. He'll may to rest
Have to
his
keep
soul.
going.
Times may be hard, but the god on the rack asks that we endure. For him.
Yeah.
Still
Anyway,
breathing, despite everything.
not only are the patches I made not active on this game,
We tried
because they
helping the
predated,
refugees. Look how it turned out.
but
I warned
Time to
the
press
temple
ahead.
I had
of
played
exactly this.
with the
Exactly
patches
this.
and didn't have a problem. Sleuth of Helm.
What's up for discussion?
By allowing his faithful
Look, investigator. Brilgor might have been a criminal, but he was no murderer. You're missing something. You have to be.
Enough, Yanis.
Maybe we can talk to
Listen to yourself. You are defending a man who ritually... The evidence speaks for itself.
That's not evidence. You have a pipe.
Shitey little elephant. I wouldn't go that far. But the investigator is being... Two people just... Investigator Valeria thinks it's a murder.
Here we go.
Feel free to look around the temple. But fair warning. Chares's caress would be my best bet. Valeria never found the murder weapon, so that could be a start.
That's probably the only
Anything
reference to
disproving the
Charest we'll
refugee
get.
murder. I can tell you where to find her, but she won't be very chatty, I'm afraid. Shira passed away last year. Peacefully, mind. I really hope you find something.
Okay. So, I am going to go ahead and save.
we need change.
I suspect him, actually, suddenly. Why? Oh, I know what this is. Solve the hand temple. Yeah, okay. There's a Tressum. There's a Tressum? Where is this Tressum? Tressum. Kiara. Tressum. Oh, is it upstairs? It is upstairs. It is not here. We're gonna find it up above. Okay. There you are, anyway.
Infirmary. Justice endures, even in suffering.
Okay, let's talk to you.
What ails you? Marsh fever? Feather lung? Be quick, I've not got all day.
I'm looking into the Lord... Let's not do this. I'm looking into Lorgan's death. I need to ask you some questions.
What do you want to know?
How did he die?
Slowly. Lorgan was a good man, if naive. He deserved better.
Why am I bloody?
One of the refugees killed him. Cruelly, too. They cut off his hand, sawed right through the bone. I found a paralytic poison on one of his wounds. Logan was alive while they took the hand. He just couldn't scream. It's sick.
Why?
We give them everything, and all we get is nothing but a good man to bury.
Can we talk to you more?
Please, leave me be. I've got an awful lot to get done.
Okay. Do you have Minor Illusion? You have Speak with Dead. You have Speak with Dead. Can't believe I forgot this. We need a bath.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Who killed you?
Dwarf, dressed in red.
What were you doing when you died?
Hiding Brilgor from fists.
Interesting. Why were you hiding Brilgor?
Must protect innocence. Ilmater's will.
That's 3. I have 2 more. Why... Where were you attacked?
Tunnels from the cellar. Refuge.
Okay, one more. One more. Where did you hide him? How did you die? We know that. Why did he kill you? One of these two. But I think we got this. Let's try why.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know.
Damn it.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay.
You and your beloved stand the test of time.
Let's see how this works.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Ungroup.
Just out of view. Oh, my hand slipped.
My hand slipped. Your name is Slip. I love that bit. Okay. This is a cabinet. That's not his chest.
Working for you.
Father Lorgain. Cabinet. Okay, we're no longer invisible for some reason.
With haste.
Do not want to do that. Let's look around a little bit. Why am I in the bed?
Can't risk being in open view.
Nothing. Okay.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Get it right this time, or I'll resurrect someone who can!
What was that? Okay, let's go out here.
Infirmary. Justice endures, even in suffering.
Okay. This is a little bit irritating. Ooh, stairs down. My hand is shaking. Wooden chest, divine rapture, wooden chest. All my tutorials have been reset somehow. I do not know why. Okay. Faint explosion of radiant damage. To any enemies with... Interesting.
This chest is deeper than it looks. A double bottom, of course.
Confessions. I pinned this from the temple cellar, the only place I feel close to the Ilmater's will anymore. I pass my gaze between the crests that hide my sin of parent. I wonder, who are they to pass any judgment? They bark that those who arrive on our doorstep, bloodied, beaten, fleeing from heretical hordes, are dirty, unwelcome, to be shunned. That is a crime. It is a crime to house them, to bring them into the city proper. But if my back must be broken so others may step to the light, so be it. Interesting. Okay, so that was... Okay. Meditations of Father, Volume 1, Father Logain. Memoir, Sister Clairwyn. Rector Yanis consolidates various sermons. High Priest. Do not, brethren, make the mistake of gathered society for the degrees of those atop it. It is the duty of faithful tormented. It is your duty to know when these decrees beget unjust suffering. It is not an easy duty. It is a duty that will scar your hands from carrying it as well it should. We must at all times recall a central fact. To suffer is not holy. To suffer is a consequence of holy duty made practice. Ilmater does not enjoy his pain, my friends. He endures it because it is just. Our own pain is an acceptable price to pay, but it is not a good in itself. Some of you may ask, if you are loved by your God, why does he allow you to suffer? Why does he allow anyone to suffer? The question is strong rhetoric, but it has an answer, and it assumes the situations in a monotheistic culture like Judeo-Christian Abrahamic religion. It is not as big a question when you're dealing with a polytheistic religion where the gods are not all powerful. One cannot be healed without first being hurt. One cannot truly know joy without knowing its absence. But to live a life full of absence, full of suffering, would be to know only one thing. We must enact balance in the name of the Lord on the rack, for it is right and it is just. Yeah, this is generally my problem with... What's his name? Legal Kimchi covers this pretty well in one of his videos. Moving from the light is how he phrased it, which I thought was a bit much. A ray of morning light dims this day, he would insist. I just can't really see it the same way. I can comfort, I can listen, I can heal. Of course, my talents are best suited in worship of Ilmater. I have no ill will towards the Morning Lord. Indeed, I think a shaft of his light will always shine in my heart. I worry too. There's something that glimmers in Pa's eyes when he talks about the light, and it's not something I like. I alight to Baldur's Gate the next 10 day to the Open Hand Temple. Maybe they'll know what ails him. Yeah, the gods in Forgotten Realms are not all powerful. You do not have the theosophic problem that you do in Christianity of why is this allowed? Okay, there is nobody down here. I am going to look in these other trunks. It was a dwarf in red.
Wonder what's past this.
It was a dwarf in red that did the killing. We're in physical investigation now. That's why Slip is in party lead. Okay, what is this? Your unarmed attacks deal an additional 1 to 4 radiant. You get the guiding bolt spell. Let's not steal. I mean, Father Lorgaine's dead. That is really good, though. That is really good. Yeah, the only way I was failing that is if I rolled a 1, 5% chance. I like the sound it makes. We're going to take it. It is there to be used. Now, I have to consider if right now it does noxious fumes. And I know I'm at 24 minutes. Which is radius 3 meters of 1 to 4 acid damage. That would do AoE, but if I do this, now, oh, it's unarmed attacks. No, we're going to go back to the Icarus gloves because I'm using the staff. Okay. But that is starting to give me a reason to go to unarmed. I'm going to go to this last chest. Well, phooey. Try again with one of the 26 thieves tools I have. Okay, what's here? A gold piece, nothing really relevant. Divine Rapture of Ilmater. %5 chance, twice. Good. It wasn't in a row because there was a non-one between. There was one between it that wasn't. Yes, I did use Thieves' Tools. Thank you for telling me. I do not need that. Let's go ahead and read this. Why are you over there? And lo, he waited, walked among us, but for a brief and brilliant moment, the crying god wept upon the earth, our earth, with the tears of a most fortunate faithful. He took our cur of Gehenna, this most defiled creature of murder, and beheld it in his immutable embrace. In his most perfect knowing, he walked with it into the sea of fallen stars. The cur clawed and screamed and ripped and tore, but he brooked no quarter, and when the sea ran red with the blood of the divine, the wailing and gnashing ceased. The creature was dead, no trace of his commanded faithful remained, save for a humble iron helm, which washed ashore with nary a scratch of sea rust about it. Okay. Yeah. That's another thing. They've been trying to tone down the well-tended garden, easy furniture, do-it-yourself.
Let's see what this does.
Whomever you pop your prayers towards, everyone needs healing and can't afford a blessing or miracle for every scraped knee. That's where the most holy art of planting shrubs comes in. What to grow? Healing. Rogue's morsel, best grown in the dark and dust. You can even plant these in cellars. Amazing. Spindly flower that takes well to tall and chilly climbs. Yellow. Why? 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 Just why? Now these are a tad difficult. You're saying they do feed on human corpses. Yep. Which doesn't fit in with an awful lot of faiths. You don't say. But think about it. Really cuts down on the graveyard space. They also make zombies. They're not undead zombies. They're plant-animated zombies, so they can't be turned. Oh, what to grow for poison smuggler. This stuff cures any poisons when refined right, but it does smell awful powerful. Stink out a whole temple, this will. Anyway, switching to a new video. while we ponder why anybody would consider yellow musk creeper as something to put in a garden.